live? Is it working? Hello. Testing, 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 testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, hello. 1, 2, 1, 2. Ad hoc. Riley, hello. Gregor, hello, thank you. Welcome. All good. How about you guys? Hello, Kieran. I just realized I have no emergency piano. Always need a piano to hand. Is it working? Yay. Forgotten the chords to this track. Got released by a local label. Nice one. Congratulations. My question is always going to be, why did you not just self-release? Did you not know how? Or did you already have a relationship? Hey, Phil's in. Going to watch Gary Delaney in an hour. Well, have a good one, mate. Have a good one. Outriders in. Hello. Can't stay long. No problem. They've got bigger reach than you do. Is that Ratchidow? Rachel? Yep, you'll have to help me with that one. Hello. Cozeps? I'm not used to reading strange internet names from international cultures. Can you guess? Hello, Gary. Hello. San Francisco. Lovely. Hello, Danny. I am very well, thank you. Ari? Ari? Is that just Ari? Ari? Hello, Raina. Thomas. Hello, Thomas. Thomas is in. Happy Sunday indeed. Always a pleasure to do a live stream. Nervous as I still am. Not exactly a public speaker, believe it or not. Oh, I need to turn my mobile on to silent, don't I? That's almost become the intro theme at this point. He's part of the routine. Piano's on. Good. Right, sound design challenge. Waterboy, hello. I've inspired you. You're very welcome. Thank you for the support. Thank you, Ari. Thank you. Now, let me just... Does anyone else hear that ticking? Is that my microphone? Is that just on my headphones, or has anyone else got weird interference? Hello, Greg. Hello, Joe. How about a video on self-release? Yeah, we should do that. Someone asked me in one of the comments about doing a video on how to make music, how to make a living from music. You've not got the interference. Okay, I'll just ignore it. I presume it's something on my end. Actually, I can test it very quickly. What if I go to my RME mixer? Let's turn it. Yeah, it's the... I've got some interference on my mic to my headphones for some reason. Doesn't matter. As long as you guys don't get it, that's good. Yeah, someone asked me about how do I make a living from music. So it's a big video that. There's a lot to set up. I was thinking about doing a few segments on... I don't know if you saw my big debate with Grant about what a producer is, after lots of people tried to weigh in on whether they think Fisher does anything on his records at all. I had to explain to a lot of people what a producer's real job is. So we need to do a video on all the different roles in music and how they pay differently. That would have to be covered first. Then the whole thing about self-release versus label release. Yeah, there's a lot of little videos leading up to, and then we need to do copyrights as well. The different types of copyright in music, because the UK is slightly different to the US as well. We'd have to cover that. So lots of little videos leading up to basically how I earn a living in music. I'll probably go over some ghostwriting things as well, maybe. Hello, IO. Is it IO? IOCO? I'm doing well, thank you. Glad the videos are helping, thank you. Danny's just bought 3 synths. Well, whatever inspires you. That's why if you're inspired to make new music, that's the reason you should buy new gear, as opposed to buying it because you think it will fix why you can't make new music. I mean Chris Fisher. This is the thing. Submit for roasting. That was just kind of a 10K. It was supposed to be a joke, really. It turns out I'm really bad at roasting people's tracks. My nature is just to help as many people as possible. So it just became more of a, hey, try this chord instead kind of thing. But here's the thing about feedback. I'm actually planning another video. I'm planning is an FAQ, because I'm getting so many requests on feedback and do I do mentoring, that kind of thing. Lots of common questions coming through every single day now. And the answer is always, you don't want feedback. I know you think you do, but you don't. Not from me. Very bad idea, because I'm not your audience, is the fundamental reason. And there's a million reasons people want feedback. They don't always qualify what they're looking for and what their terms of success are. So I can't give feedback on a track just based on my personal opinion. It depends on, do you want to become David Guetta levels, £200,000 an hour, probably more than that now, on stage at Tomorrowland? Is that what you're aiming for, or is it you just literally want to be more than 1,000 plays on Spotify, or there's a million qualifiers for success. Do you want it to be your complete living? Do you want to quit your job? Do you want music to be your living? There's when people say, "Can you give feedback on my track?" they usually think a little bit too selfishly, a bit too locally. Is probably a better word, not selfish, local, as in, is it any good? And that is a terrible question. Never ask anyone for feedback like that, because it's not for me or for you to say what's good. It's for the audience, and I'm not your audience. So the best way to get feedback is release the thing, even if it's unfinished. Put it up on SoundCloud and then just see what people say. Try and get an audience. In fact, if you're just starting out, a great way to grow your audience is to start releasing unfinished stuff with the question, "Hey, does anyone like this?" People love to get in early on an act, because then they can boast years down the line that they knew you before you were famous. That's what Billie Eilish did. I like Phil's definition. He just wants enough money to redecorate the house. That's a very realistic outlook on life. You can tell he's English. This week is not a roast, by the way. I don't know if you saw my community post. This week we're doing the sound design challenge. I have a few already. Basically, if there's a sound you've been struggling to get, I'm going to try and make it live. So I'm going to take a mixture of ones that I've got about 20 that were already requested on that post. And I'm going to take some live. We're all English and old. Hey, never too old to start anything. The great Leslie Nielsen didn't start acting till he was in his. Well, he had grey hair, put it that way, so he was past 40. Was it 50s? Anyway, lots of examples like that. Waterboy is releasing on the 4th of August. Great. Hello, Yo-Yo Ma. Ion, how do I send tracks? Well, I'm just ranting about that. You don't. Because you don't want my feedback. Unless we do if we do a track roast, maybe we'll do another one. But that was just supposed to be a 10K celebration kind of thing. I don't normally recommend people ask feedback. Joe, what about feedback on how a mix sounds, about EQing or sound selection? There's nothing I can say. There's nothing I can say about that, right? Because think about it. So, first of all, I can tell you from decade of plus of experience, sound quality doesn't really matter. You're talking to a guy who grew up with an 8-track tape, and I couldn't afford a drum machine, so I used the drums that were built into my keyboard at the time, which was a Yamaha PSS 795. Look it up. It's like myfirstkeyboard.com. The ones with the built-in speakers and the built-in bossa nova beats and all that kind of stuff. So I had the drums off that. I was trying to record to. My parents were super generous. They spent. My uncle was selling this 8-track tape thing because he was a wannabe musician. Actually, it was my girlfriend's uncle. Anyway, it doesn't matter. 8-track on cassette tape. It was. It could run 8. There was no EQ. all it could do was pan and adjust volume, and there was no mic inputs. It was all line level inputs, all jack inputs, so I couldn't record a vocal. The only way I could get a vocal in there was to, I figured out if I plugged, I bought a microphone to jack, guitar jack cable, plugged that into a guitar pedal so I could get enough gain, because I didn't understand that microphones have a different level input to line level. So I cranked the gain through my guitar pedal, which caused a ton of hiss, and that's how I got vocals into my 8-track tape thing, and that was how I made music. So anyone who thinks that they're struggling because their DAW built-in EQ, anything like that, is not good enough. I mean, I'm not saying I made professional tracks on that setup, but literally any processing that's available today is fine. It's good enough. So it's really hard to make such a bad sounding track that it would ruin the song or the track. So the sound quality rarely matters. And in terms of about sound selection, there's nothing I can teach you, right? Because unless we literally have a brain transplant, you can't hear what I can hear. It's like me trying to describe the color orange to you, right? How do we both know that we see orange the same way? It's impossible to describe, right? So unless you have my ear education, my brain, I can't say your clap's bad, or I would have chosen a different clap, because that doesn't help you in any way, because you still don't have the experience to have made that decision in the first place. So I can't pass on, it's exactly why I did the drum video the way I did, because I can't pass on my ear training. That's for you to get your own. And again, there's no right or wrong answers. Your sound will end up different to mine, and that's going to be your vibe, and that's going to be good. But never worry about sound quality. Don't worry about this professional thing. This quote-unquote professional sound. Nonsense. It doesn't guarantee you any... I could mix a track of yours tomorrow to sound like any artist you've ever wished, and it will come out as good as Chris Lake or Eli Brown. I do it every day for other clients, and what they learn instantly is they still don't get more than 1,000 views. 1,000 plays on Spotify. It doesn't even trigger the numbers, because the sound doesn't matter. It's not the thing that makes the track. Exactly, Joe. A good tune is a good tune. So you concentrate on the tune, and the way you get feedback is put it out. The other advantage of sounding amateur is there's so many people and so much YouTube advice, people striving to sound quote-unquote professional, copy my pro vocal chain and all this nonsense, that if you do sound somewhat amateur, that to a listener's ears, that just sounds different and fresh. If you've got the groove wrong and the song wrong, then yes, they'll know something's wrong. But sound quality is never your barrier to a good track. There's been lots of, the example I always use is House Every Weekend. That was a terrible mix of a track. I would critique that to death if I was just purely giving feedback on an engineering front. But, that track went viral. And look at Mau P, Drugs from Amsterdam. Speak to any engineer in this industry, they don't think that sounds good. And apparently it doesn't even translate to the club that well. But the track's a banger, so if your track's good, the sound quality never matters. So I'm never going to be able to pass on my ear education, and then the sound quality doesn't matter anyway. So that kind of feedback doesn't really have much value. You might as well just release what you have and see if it finds an audience. And then the feedback you get that way is far more valuable than anything I can say, because it's in the real world. You've got real world feedback. You've got real world data. If only 5 people listen to it and all of them commented and said it's whack, then you go back to the drawing board. You're like, what can I change? It's just, you just never know when someone's going to clip it, put it on a cat video, or Mustafa's going to sing along to it and do a dance in his car, and it goes viral. And then all of a sudden, regardless of what your track is or how it sounds, your tracks are, you know, an international success. Don't worry about sound quality. Worry about finishing your ideas, or at least just getting over the hurdle of putting it in the real world. I need to do pointer focus as well. People can see my mouse before we get onto this. And then the other rant before we finish is you've heard me talk on live streams before. I need to do a video on this. There's a medical reason why you are not finishing tracks. What they call the lizard brain effect. Or Stephen Pressfield called it the resistance, the voice of the resistance. Because we evolved from lesser mammals, like chickens, etc. We still have that brain at the bottom of our brain stem before we developed the bigger brain on top, the neocortex. We still have the chicken brain in there, and that's what is responsible for all of our base emotions, because that's the bit that it shortcuts your nervous system. It's on the top of your spinal column, and it's responsible for fear, food, sex, you know, just all the primal emotions, because it's designed to keep you alive. But the problem with that bit of the brain is the fear part doesn't understand whether you're trying to run from a saber-toothed tiger or trying to dive out the way of a bus you didn't see in the road, or whether you're just making some new type of art that you're scared people will laugh at you about. It doesn't know the difference between you being scared because you're trying to be brave and make a new melody, or you know, and show it to the world for the first time, or whether you're actually in, you know, actual mortal danger. It doesn't know the difference. So every time you get close to finishing a track, the lizard brain pipes up and says, they're going to laugh at you, you only get one chance, which is nonsense. You'll never be able to release a track again because your first attempt will be so bad, everyone will never ever listen to another song you ever make. And then your reputation will be so bad, you'll never be employed in the industry, you'll never have a music career, you'll never get a job, and you'll die. It goes down the full ladder of survival, and that's the medical reason why you can't finish a video. So the reason you're asking me for feedback is also partly to do with that. You need someone else's justification so that you can blame me. You understand? That's kind of part of it. There's a reason you're seeking for external validation as opposed to just trying to put it in the world. I mean, and that's not a criticism. It's just natural. So we all do that. But I'm just kind of saying, be aware of that. Be aware of that voice. Ignore it or lean into it, because it usually means you're doing something brave. And just run with it. Run with the fear. Dance with the fear, as they say. As my hero says, Seth Godin. Sound design challenge. All right, yeah. Before we start, let's all blame me. How is everyone? Oh my God, there's 63 of you in here. That jumped from 11. What should you worry about other than, as opposed to not worrying about sound quality? You should worry about whether you can dance to your track. In dance music terms, that's what I would worry about. I've never met a single artist, and I know some people who've gone on to be very famous. I ghostwrite for some semi-famous people right now as well. You know, they're in the 10 to 20,000 pounds an hour kind of DJ range, shall we say? But not a single artist I've ever met, doesn't matter whether it's rock artist, dance artist, not a single one has ever been able to predict what their hit would be. All you can do is keep trying stuff. So the whole point of trying to judge whether something's good beforehand is a needless process. You just have to make what you love, understand the culture that you are trying to release it within. So yeah, in the case of dance music, if you can't dance, there's a problem, isn't there? Because you're never going to know how people, you know, you remember when the shuffle craze came through? Like, if you don't know how to shuffle, then how would you know what to do with your shakers or hi-hats based on how the kids move their feet? How much swing to put in there, all that kind of stuff. Those kind of decisions. It's like, I mean, that's a very scientific way of looking at it. But the other way, the opposite side of the thing is you need to be reacting with feel. So if you don't love the song or you can't release a song, then maybe that's all you need to be worrying about. And even in that case, I would say if you're not loving the track, just finish it as it is and release it, just in case someone else does. One man's meat is another man's poison. Or one person's meat is another person's poison, should we say today? Anyway, right. Philosophy. You'll get me talking for hours on that kind of thing, unless I crack on. So, we're taking music counselling. Apparently 60 people have turned up for music counselling. It's because so many people ask for feedback, you see. It's like, this is the reason you don't want feedback. It's actually a lot more complicated than you think. My feedback can't help much. Blake's a terrible dancer. This is making sense now. Yes. Yes. I mean, I'm not a great dancer. It takes me a couple of beers, don't get me wrong, before, you know, the inhibitions. But I can understand it, and I can move. I actually have this little test, right? So I've got a very large keyboard next to me, which is on a bit of a wonky stand. It feels like the stand is only just able to support the weight of this old Roland keyboard. I've got a piano-sized Roland here called a Phantom X8, about 30 kilograms. And it's on one of those X keyboard stands, you know, the classic stand that makes an X shape, and it wobbles if you play it too hard. And a lot of the times I'm making music on headphones because I work late into the night, don't want to disturb people. And it's a good test. If I take off my headphones and the keyboard next to me is wobbling and creaking in time with the beat, it means I was bouncing in my chair and the groove's working. So if I look round and it's going, I know the track's a banger. Not necessarily, but you know, it's working for me. That's kind of my version of dancing in the chair, but without alcohol. A dubstep wobble. Is this our first request? My first request, I need to get out of the way, was Neil's. It's something I've already done. I need to find it though. The Biscuit's lead sound. He just wanted to know how I did that. And I'm trying to remember what the project's called. I'm pretty sure it will be in there. Let's just go in here. Oh, actually, what am I doing? I can just drag it in. That's all drums, subfeed. I believe it was actually in the basses. Right, okay, here we go. 1 second. I think it was the dink. Yes. So I have to get this out of the way for Niels. Niels wanted to know this, and I didn't have time to reply to him in the week. How to make the Biscuits kind of sound. Now, this isn't very accurate. But the principles are all the same for these kind of sounds. There's two elements to it. You've got the rhythm and the sound. And the principle behind the sound is just to find something very bright. This waveform here. anything like this, I'm applying a filter on a very fast envelope. So, very short decay. And then for extra noise, extra attack, we add some noise. That's kind of the basic idea. You see, I've tried to poke some mids through on the EQ here. The bottom ends, doesn't matter. It's not going to make a difference. And then trying to get some even more attack out with some clipping, but got to be very careful with that. So that was Niels' request on the Biscuit sound. That's literally all it is. It's just find a bright waveform. What did this one come from? PCM. Let's have a look. It's not that specific. Most. Huh. Oh, PWM. Sorry, PWM. PW. That's pulse width modulation. That stands for. So it's from Serum's stock waveform. So download the demo of Serum, extract the wavetables, pull them into Vital, and you've got the core of Serum. Top tip, by the way. As for rhythms, you need to do these little drills, what I call drills, and you do that by just basically changing your grid to. Everyone usually obviously makes music on 16th grids. So you just need to increase that to 32s. And you can get those kind of little kind of drill sounds. That's all it is. The rhythm is pretty much, the rest of the rhythm is the same as most house. Right, so I noticed Binary was next. He wanted, what, a dubstep wobble? Which one? Are we going original dubstep, like Benga Scream, Rusko, Casper? Or do you mean modern, super noisy stuff, Binary? Phil wants Don't Miss the Party line. Let's bring up some tracks. I remember the one. I need a refresher though. What mix, Phil? It's just business original, right?
Hey DJ!
Has everyone got this sound, by the way? Grab our clip grab. Which sound? Do you mean the lead? Sounds like a sample.
DJ, where's the bass?
Yeah, that's a sample. That's the same sound as 9 AM Till Come, isn't it? Without the pitch bend. It might be layered with a synth, either that or it's got a resonant filter on it. But the core sound is a sample. I think it's supposed to be a guitar. It'll be from a Rompler, one of the sample-based synths, you know.
Hey DJ!
Obviously, it might be Korg M1, could be the O1W, could be.
Where's the?
What year was this? Party Line was, oh, is it late 90s?
Bass!
Yeah, I think it's a... Yeah, it's a fake guitar. Not going to be something you'll make in a synth like Vital that easily. You can have a quick go. Any sound, Thomas. Try me. I mean, if it's too complex, I'll be able to tell you. But I can hear two elements to this sound. There is a bop-out, bop-out. There's a little synth on a resonant filter kind of either tucked behind it or it's part of the sound.
Are you
89. Oh, wow. Yeah, that limits the options. You're best with these kind of sounds just finding out what synth was used. Someone will know somewhere in some forum. I wish I knew what the 9 AM Till Come sound came from. In fact, we might be able to find it out. But it's that sound. The Peggy Goo just used it, right? Peggy Goo just ATB 9 AM Till Let's see if I can put synth. There we go. It's a JV 1080 Jazz Guitar Hall. Now, do I have any of the ROMs from... It's a great website, by the way, called vst-store.com, which has archived a bunch of synths for free in sound font format. Which is why I use that sampler, the TX. Let me see if I have anything similar. I can tell you the notes. It's 175, 1731 in whatever key that is. 11175. That is a B, so it's in B. B B B B A F sharp. B B B B A D B would be the notes. Where's my piano? Oh, I'm soloed. Hang on. Yeah. My ears are still working. Good to know. Romplers. Right. I've got a JV 2080. Is the jazz guitar sound in the Roland 2080? It doesn't look like it, does it? Damn. Someone must have it somewhere. But yeah, Phil, you want to find the original sample. It's not going to be very synthable. It's like trying to synthesize a piano. It's just going to be... Well, Piano Tech managed it, but you need a whole company and a bunch of a dedicated algorithm. You can't really synthesize acoustic sounds that well. I'm not seeing any other guitars in here either. That no. Crunch guitar is going to be distorted, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, by the way, that's where you get your everybody dance now. It was a Roland, right? Pretty sure it was a Roland. It wasn't a 2080 because it was before the 2080. 2080 is early noughties, I believe. So Yeah, you want one of the earlier Rolands, maybe even a D50. Anyway, right. Yeah. Sorry, Phil. It's not. Oh, show the MIDI. Let's just. Tell you what. Let's just go contact. Bring up a. I know it's not a freebie, but it is quick. I'll bring up a jazz guitar. Pretty sure there's one in here in the stock library. It's a little bit distorted as well. That's just probably down to tape. Right, let's factory library band. Contact. Okay, thank you. Guitar. Let's just go electric guitar. Oh, there's a jazz guitar there. Let's see if this is anything. Close enough. Probably too mellow, but we need right 16th grid. So the rhythm is this da 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 da. Long note, short note. That's your MIDI. And probably if you want it similar noise, it's obviously we've not got the right sample, so you don't want to spend too long. I would probably layer it with a little synth doing a whoops. Oh, come on. Come on, Ableton. Help me out, will you? It needs to be a little pluck. Little plucky envelope for the filter. It's that kind of thing. Like I say, you're not going to get close without the and you want some just delay on there. Not even close, but that's the starting point. But like I say, you're gonna have to find that original sample from the JB 1080 somewhere. Someone will have it. Might be worth checking Synthmania's website. Sometimes he puts recordings up there. You could just grab a sample of it if you can find one note. Right. That was Phil. Right, binary. What is the eagle squeak? I'm just going to type. You can use Serum and Vital as samplers in a rudimentary sense. Yes, you can drop samples into the well, the sample section here. It's the same on both synths. I could find a guitar in. I've got my own. Drag them in there, and then, whoops, I'm on the... Oh, we need to put it... That makes a good reggae guitar, that. That's because of the envelope. Interesting. Yeah, but not the ideal way to trigger samples. That's kind of... I use it as an addition to certain sounds. Sometimes I'll drag a snare drum in to add a load of attack to a synth. You can blend that in very quickly. Just a very short spike from a snare drum can help the attack of a synth, for example. That's kind of the way I use the sample section on these synths. Not as an actual sample trigger. I'd just rather use the DAW sampler. Usually a lot more better options. Has Binary replied with which squeak? How far behind is the stream? We're not roasting today, Lance. Sorry, Xander. This is a sound design challenge. The roast was just for the 10K celebration thing. You missed my... watch the VOD of this when it gets uploaded. Because I had a massive rant about why you don't want track feedback at the beginning. A very big rant. How to make a mellow Rhodes piano. You get a Rhodes sample. Ableton's got one built in. If you're an Ableton user, it's not even a sample actually. It's just which one is it? Is it electric? That's all you need. This is a model of one, so you've got all sorts of control. You can change the stiffness of the fork. That'll give you the more mellow sound. They're very close to sine waves, Rhodes, in a way. The difference is the attack that the metal fork gives. So, and there's an amplification stage which can add some nice distortion. But you can make similar variations in a synth. I like to do it with you just use a sine wave, and then maybe some FM. So you can add some attack. Let me do. Oh, by the way, that's how you get the lately bass. 2 sine waves, one. Well, not the lately bass per se, but a lot of the old dance FM basses are just 2 sine waves, one FM'd into one another. That's probably too much. But it doesn't behave the same because of you need some decay and release. That sounds a bit like the beginning of Radiohead, doesn't it? That kind of thing. But yeah, just I'm pretty sure there's some free Rhodes VSTs out there. They're not really worth. Depends what kind of sound you're going for. If you want the really pure synthy version, then yeah, just play with sine waves, etc. But if you're after a Rhodes, it's not worth trying to synthesize one. You might as well just use a Rhodes instrument. Obviously not a real one; they're very expensive. But just get a sample or a VST that recreates one. Would be my advice. Not really anything worth. Do-do-do. Unbiased feedback. Yeah, but I am biased because everyone is. The main point is I'm not your audience, so it's not valuable feedback in that sense. And I can't predict your audience. That's why I don't think the feedback's that valuable. If you release on SoundCloud and only your friends listen, yeah, obviously that's not good feedback. But that's the bigger part of the challenge. Is how do you get past your friends and family? How do you extend your circle? That's the bigger puzzle you've got to figure out. Because that challenge never stops. Doesn't matter how good the track is. People think good music is what spreads alone, and that's not the case. Right, I didn't see an answer from Binary, so we're going to just pick the next one. Pleasurecraft Tarantula. Llewellyn asked for. What sound in this track? I take it, is it obvious? Bongos? Or is that... No, it's conga, isn't it? That'd be conga. Fake conga. What's the sound? Llewellyn? That's exactly my attitude, Rude, yes. Phaser pad. Middle of the track. You mean this? That's a vocoder. That's not a synth. Well, technically it is a synth. Right. So that sound, that's a vocoder. So we need to go into a little about how vocoders work. Not easy to reverse engineer because Ableton's got a built-in vocoder, hasn't it? Yeah. So we need two elements. We need a synth and we need a vocal. Oh, well, you need a modulation source and a carrier, technically. I've put this microphone in the most awkward position. I can't see anything I'm typing. Sorry. Just let me move some stuff around. Right. There we go. Right. Let's grab a vocal I know I have the rights to use. The ever generous Tasia Sky. Do I have... Let's grab the last one I used, whatever that is. Oh, her cover of Lana Del Rey. That will be fine. We got a vocal. And remember, I was formatted on this. Is that right?
Summertime sadness. I just wanted you to know.
Right, let's just take that.
Kiss me hard before you go.
It's fine. We put the vocoder on the vocal. And we need a synth sound. Doesn't matter what it is right now. We have to select the carrier as the synth. So we external, vital. Right, we turn down the synth.
Kiss me hard before you go.
And then when you do, I'll tell you what, let's put the synth on glide. Let's play the synth.
Kiss me hard before you go. Kiss me hard before you go. Kiss me.
That kind of thing.
Kiss me hard before you go. Kiss me hard before you go. Kiss me. Kiss me hard before you go. Kiss me hard before you go.
Obviously, you change the. Again, solos are always a great place to start anyway, but you see that sounded not too far off. But
Kiss me hard before you go. Kiss me hard before you go.
obviously, it's not going to sound the same until you get that vocal saying that thing. So, but that's the principle. You just need a vocal feeding, sorry, a synth feeding the carrier of a vocoder, and then the sound of the synth and the vocal merge. Basically, the what's called the formants of the vocal become the modulator for the sound of the synth.
Kiss me hard before you go. Kiss me hard before you go.
It gets really fun when you get down low.
Kiss me hard before you go.
So that's the principle behind that. It's just a vocoder. I'm not pitch bending. You could use a pitch bend. I'm just using glide. You look at my synth series. Just turn up glide so that when you play two different pitches, it glides between them.
Kiss me hard before you go. Kiss me hard before you.
Obviously, you can do chords as well.
Kiss me hard before you go. Kiss me hard before you go. Kiss me hard before you go.
But that particular sound is done monophonically. It's one sound, glide, with just glide on.
Kiss me hard before you go.
That's all it is. Well, I'll say that's all it is. There's obviously lots of nuance to that. But that's how you get there. Yeah, it's got a gate on it as well. The vocal's gated, I think. I'm not sure if the whole signal is, but either way, but that both would work. Connor's got it, yeah. Gated vocal with pitch bends. People asking for feedback because my my live. Oh, it's viewer track roast. Oh, it's kept the last title. It didn't change it. Sorry, I had technical issues earlier. It wouldn't let me launch the stream. I'm so sorry to everyone who asked for feedback. Oh, track roast. That is not what the I'm so sorry. That makes sense now. It's a sound design challenge, not track roasting. Apologies. I just basically went off at everyone who said, give me feedback, because I thought, I am so sorry. Terrible, terrible behavior. I'm so a professional, I promise, guys. I am a professional. Oh, Thomas tried to tell me. Sorry, Thomas. Sorry, the chat's going by so fast. Well, between when I'm looking at my screen and your screen. Right. Now let's start the stream. 59 minutes in. We've got the right title. Right, any other sounds? So Thomas, thank you for trying to correct me. Colorblind, the just bass line, or the donk. Let's have a look. Just Bass and Haley May.
Been through darker days, found our way out. Struggle, but the weight can't keep us down.
Two bass lines.
I questioned our future, but I don't doubt. Your love keeping my feet on the ground, and I don't care how long it.
So you mean the boom boom, the upper bass, because the other one's just a sub bass, right?
Even when we separate.
The Medusa style deep donk thing. Hello, Gabrielle. Gabriel. Yeah, they're easy. They're dead easy, those. Let me turn the vocoder off. Turn my synth back up. We get rid of glide. Yeah, nice and easy. So we want some release, somewhat of a pluck envelope. We'll judge it after. The main element is, we've got two elements. The detuned voices, so turn your unison voices up with some amount of detune on. We'll judge this in a minute. And then you want a low pass filter, probably steep one, enveloped in this way. Yeah, it needs to be subtler than that. Getting there. Obviously, it's verbed for Atmos. Something in that area. But yeah, it's just a saw wave with you can either get the detune from the unison, or you can add a chorus. There are two different ways of doing the same thing. They do sound different. Turn the depth up. See what I mean? I think their version sounds more like a unison detune. Adjust amount of detune to taste. And then there's a little swell at the end of one of them, wasn't there? In which case you need to, you can either manually do that, or you can have it so that you have an envelope, so that when you hold the note long enough, you get the same effect. Too much. Let's put it on one bar. That might be half a bar, but yeah. That kind of thing. Nothing too complicated out of those. That's all they are. Just detuned. Filter. Steep filter. No resonance. That'll sound too squishy. Although if you're trying to sound a lot more 80s or 70s, go for it. But yeah, the hard part is judging the decay of the filter envelope, which is, your amount of time going downwards, and the amount of the filter that it's actually adjusting. whenever you're doing subtle basses that are filtered this way, it's they're easily masked by other sounds because they're so dull, right? So you have to be careful with fine-tuning your filter amount and decay, just so it pokes through above your drums or what else is. You might have pads in there, that kind of thing. So it's just that. That's all it is. Philberg Hazard says, help me with the pronunciation on that one. That looks like a Slavic language. Sechko? I don't know how I would pronounce that. I don't know the accents above the Z. Russian, Ukrainian, Romanian, Belarus. Where does one herald from, sir? Hello, Rosovich. Bosnia-Herzegovina. Ah. A little bit further over, yes. How do I pronounce your first name in English phonetics? do you even... is it... Seivo? Or is it pronounced with an S, that Z? Anyway, let me look up the track. Philberg Hazard. So, like a ZH. This is her. How do they get the subs pumping like... Oh, right, okay. The dark techno sub. Okay, well, I'll tell you what I do when I'm trying to figure these things out. Let me bring this track into the door. I love this kind of techno. Grab. Let's put it in Bthelick references for now. Actually, let's make a folder for sound design challenge. Let's put it in there. Save. I'll show you my approach. Depends on your listening environment, right? So this is going to be very hard to hear without a good subwoofer and or good headphones. You can help yourself a lot with, you grab a plugin like Isolate, freebie. So you need all the help you can get. We're going to look at the meters. And you're going to listen below 80 hertz. What you're trying to listen out for is, are there any actual bass notes down here? What you're trying to determine is it a sub bass? Is it a long kick drum? Is it sub rumble, like techno rumble, like which can just be noise? So basically what I'm trying to determine is it tonal or is it noise? You can get a clue the next band up. I've gone 80 to 200. You can hear there's some like reverb on the kick and some extra noise in there as well. So it's higher than 80. There's very little above 200. So somewhere between like 120. I'm hearing more noise. Another trick you can do is let's turn the track, let's pitch the track up by an octave, 12. I don't want it time stretched because that will add its own tonal artifacts. So I'm listening for, are there any distinct notes? Because sometimes when you take let's just grab a random kick drum. Imagine this kick, you couldn't determine the pitch of it. Sometimes things become apparent when they're closer to your hearing, more natural hearing range, okay? So now I know that kick is... Let's get my piano out. Oh, I deleted my piano. Whoops-a-daisy. That kick drum's a G. Is it even labelled? No. You find them labelled terribly. G or G sharp sounds a bit sharp, but when we pitch this up, I've not got any tonal elements, so that makes me think it's kick plus noise. So the way you achieve that is this. I mean, there's lots of different routes to get the classic techno rumble. So it's either reverb on the kick, actually, I'll do. I'm not going for super close, but just give you the principle of how you start here. Let's get my kicks in. So it's either reverbs or it's noise or both, or delays they also use. 120 is not techno. I'm gonna go, let's go 138. That sounds like off the top of my ears. Not the best. The next hard part is finding a reverb that doesn't splash when you hit it. Like if I use Tal, for example, you get that horrible knock. Whereas if you take something like Dragonfly's Hall, it's a lot more diffused. Let's get a delay. These are all. This is not the one option. This is all the options piled on. So we get. That's another way. And then we just take this is the super fast explanation, by the way. Don't expect miracles in 5 minutes. This is how you get there, and then you spend a couple of hours tweaking until you get it right. With lots of referencing, right? So white noise. I should just grab a synth. That sounds like full band white noise, probably. Filters. We'll just take an EQ for now. We thought it was around 120. We'll have to be careful of the subs. These need to be steeper filters. Cranked. And then what you're going to need to do is, obviously, that needs to be out the way for to figure out the length of your kick drum at those frequencies. So we take this before our effects. Basically, you want to make the opposite shape of that. This isn't the ideal techno kick. Just kind of giving you the idea, but that's that will be a principle on how you start, and then you have to it's just about figuring out the frequencies. The kick drum choice is important because if you are using reverb, that obviously that dictates the flavor and the depth of the frequencies coming off it. But that's all the principle is. It's either delays, reverbs, noise, or all three, and it's tuning them. Ideally, what you want to do to get make sure their track is at master level, and then you just basically trying to get yours. What's solo? Oh, nope. The sidechain is completely wrong. Wrong kick drum, like I said, wrong kick drum. But that's the idea. It's literally play around with that for a couple of hours till you get you're using the meters, you're using isolate on your master, so you can A/B between yours and theirs until you are till you're in the ballpark. So yeah, we'd need a longer kick drum to match that. That sounds like a very long kick drum plus noise to me. I'm not hearing any of the delay. There might be reverb involved, but I'm thinking you just need a good long kick drum that's got a sub drone to it. Although it doesn't appear to be that tonal, doesn't appear to be on a single note. So it's diving. Doom, 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 doom. And then, so you just long tail kick drum with the right flavor and mixing some white noise and filter it, get your sidechain right until, yeah, that's about it basically. That's just find the right frequencies. Yeah, wrong kick drum, but that's all it is. That's all it is. Yeah, it's never thought of adding noise to the low end. Yeah, it's dangerous. Don't get me wrong. Got to be very careful in the club. Like, you don't want that the same level as a kick. The one thing you're paying attention to when you're isolating down here on the reference is you don't want it to be this one long note. There needs to be some dynamic. You need to be able to hear the start of the attack. Because when you get to a club and all the processing on the speakers happens, especially if you're pushing your track quite hot, basically speaker processing is just like multiband compression. They have all sorts of processing built into the speakers to protect them, so that gets squished. You have to be very careful to leave some dynamics so that it actually punches in the club and is not just one long drone, basically. So just keep an ear out for the dynamics in the reference. And if you've not heard this track in a club, don't reference it. Not for this kind of thing. If it sounds like I've come across certain tracks that sound really impressive in the studio because they were made to sound really impressive in the studio. And then you try to DJ them live and it's just a mess down there. It's like, it's too much. They've gone too far with probably a multi-band compressor or mastering or something like that. So you end up with this drone and no one's dancing. So you've got to be very careful, very careful. You're listening out for the dynamics as well as the frequencies and things like that. So, yes. But, yeah. Not going to get very close in the 10 minutes I'm going to give that, but that's where I start, basically. The way you spend the longest is trying to match the kick drum flavor and frequencies, basically. Okay, Alessandro wants Shadow Child DGB. LFO Synth. Let's have a look. That one. Oh, that thing. We're reminded me of who did It's Time for the Percolator. I take it you mean the LFO bendy thing. This it goes crazy when it builds up a drop. That might be alright, okay. I know. Yeah, I know how that's done. Nice and easy. Now it sounds like it's not a digital synth because there is artifacts on that saw wave, but doesn't matter. The principle's the same. That's just a flavor thing. It's got a thicker saw wave than a pure digital one, or maybe it's been EQ'd or put through tape or something. Could be lots of things. But it's just a saw, LFO to pitch, and it sounds like the amount of pitch modulation is rising. So when you hold, the longer you hold the note, the longer the pitch modulation is going up. So we start here. Ideally, we want a sine wave. It's going to be 8th dotted, it sounds like. Actually, it sounds like triplets. Right? It's 8th triplets. Whoops. Yeah. So we'll take some top end off to kind of match theirs a little bit. It's not... Things... When you start messing with LFOs on pitch, things can get shrill really fast. Again, something you need to avoid for clubs. The top end of the modern... have you ever heard of Function 1 system recently? They're so harsh. Everyone's deaf. I like to be very careful up top. So what we need to do is we need a separate envelope affecting this envelope. We could do we could do it with an envelope, not another LFO. So this envelope needs to affect our pitch amount. Easiest to do that in the matrix. Here you just drag that onto there. So you can see it's going up every time I press a key. Just turn this release off. And then basically you just need to add distortion for virtual analogness. Not essential, but optional. I could definitely hear something going on in there. You might want a different distortion, the built-in one, but yeah. And then all that's being adjusted is the amount of pitch, basically. That's all it is. And you don't have to have that in tempo. You can have it in seconds. So when you adjust it smoother. That's all it is, basically. That's all it is. Tin liquor was what did I spot? Tin liquor. Who wanted tin liquor? Rez, do I have a full a video of me creating a full track from scratch? I did on the very first live stream, yes. Yes, but YouTube doesn't put them under videos anymore. It puts them under live. So you need to look at the live tab. I have called it making a piano house track from scratch. Even if you're not into piano house, you'll learn about my process. It's pretty much the same for most genres. So give it a watch. Am I going through the sounds on the community page? I'm going to do both, Greg. Yeah. Tin liquor, be here, and now. That was played after at the end of phrases. Let's have a listen. Let's get into the. The low brass. Yeah, it sounds like brass. You can kind of get them with synths. Again, saw wave down low, lots of reverb. And a bit of slow attack will kind of get you in the ballpark. If it's a synth, that sound, I'm not. It's kind of hard to tell in that mix on first listen whether it's an actual brass sample or, if you are getting brass, what you're looking for is bass trombone or tuba, but you need to be able to find samples of them being played very hard because they rasp and they go rah. Let's do the synth version. I tell you what, I should make new, just in case I need to save these presets. But yeah, I would low pass, saw wave, grab a long verb. We're in C sharp. Oh, got something rattling on that key. Here we go. So you want some kind of sound like there might be a little bit of resonance. Let's go attack. Whoa, way too much. We need to anger it with let's try and EQ into distortion. We could apply a bit of an envelope to the cutoff on that. On a slow attack as well. Too much. Let's try some voices. We might need a backup so that some are detuned. Whoops, through the filter. Oh, you might need to automate the attack on the. That's either two different things, or it's being automated. But you'll hear what I mean when that's kind of the origins of it. You might want to play around with variations of sawtooth, like not that. There's a Moog one. They're all subtly different, you know. Obviously, it's definitely not a saw. I mean, a square, as you can hear. It's not a square or a pulse wave. Yeah, sounds. It's in. You can even add a second bandpass filter to get a little bit more of that growl in there. Doesn't seem to be working too well. It just sounds like a vocoder filter now, valve filter. Yeah, it's either that or low trombones. Again, just contact stock to give you the, or you could layer both, obviously. Let's go trombone ensemble. What? Oh, apparently my drive isn't plugged in. Trust it to do that. That'll be the first time it's ever done that on me. Live on stream. What a time to pick. Oh, I've got BBC, haven't I? Oh no, my drive is plugged in. Okay, I'm not going to tech support that live on stream. BBC. I don't think these get as raspy, but hopefully it works at least. Come on. Oh, it doesn't like recording the screen and doing this at the same time, does it? Trombones at the back. Bass trombones. Oh, I can't get them in the low C sharp. That's sometimes a problem you find with real samples. If the instrument can't play it in real life, they don't sample it down there. Does the tuba get down to a C sharp? No. Low D. You could always resample it and then pitch it down. There's something like that. Try a layer of sawtooth with a slow filter on it and a trombone. It's kind of how I'd go about that probably. It plays at 30 seconds even clearer. Yeah, hard to tell if it's trombone, synth, or both, or a sample. You find I know what is it? Is it Warhorns? Kashmir? No, I think they're just brass, aren't they? Has he got... I thought Kashmir had brass in his sample library. Live instruments. There we go. I think they're under staff. Sustains. That kind of thing. You can just resample those, filter them. Don't have to make them every time, but if you wanted to, so you have control over things like filters, that's where you start, basically. Simple. Brass is the output of a brass instrument is very similar to a saw wave, very similar. A bit more asymmetric. I do need to tackle some from the. Oh, somebody wanted Mike Hardman on the community post wanted Zombie Nation. Which I will always remind everyone was stolen without permission from a guy called David Whittaker. And the original was called Lazy Jones. It was a computer game. In fact, let's go there. I know that's not the sound he wants, but I want to find the... There it is. Commodore 64. Where is it? There we go. There's the original. Lazy Jones on the Commodore 64. It was stolen note for note. And because the judge didn't understand that a game programmer could also program the soundtrack because it wasn't played in, back then you had to literally program note by note, the judge awarded Kerncraft the copyright, which is tragic. So David Whittaker never got paid for Zombie Nation, even though it was his melody and bass line. So it's two things. It's an octave bass line. Obviously, it's a saw wave. It's going to look like I'm just cherry picking saw wave sounds now, but I'm doing these in order. This was the second sound requested on the... I think what we need to do with it, though, is some kind of pulse width, or it needs to be squeezed in some fashion. B flat, was it? Yeah. So we've got some raw detune, and it's not stereo spread because it's old. Not sure if it sounds pulse width. No, I think it's bent somehow. Knowing it with it being an analog synth, it's probably on the move a little bit. So we'll just we'll put that on an LFO. Right, and the so that's your bottom layer. The I did the same. Oh, there's an octave in there. There's an octave. Yeah, I'm thinking there's two layers. It's hard to tell because the other one does get quiet. But that could just be sheer compression. It is heavily compressed. Obviously we got some reverb. But the upper voice doesn't sound anywhere near as detuned as the lower voice. There's obviously pitch drift as well. That's annoying. It's somewhere between B flat and B. Someone's either sped up the record or the tape was played back fast. That happened back then. See if I can get a better recording. That's the video. Apparently there's a high quality version. What pitch is this at? That's not high quality. It's somewhere. It's somewhere in between. Yeah, the upper layer is not detuned, but it is octaved like that. Obviously, I don't think it's full bandwidth either. There's some top end rolled off. Sorry, I can't decide if it's in B or B flat. It's confusing me. But yeah, I'll show you the MIDI. But that's I can't decide if that's the same sound. Obviously it's saw based, no doubting about that. Our rumble. Let's just so the bass line is literally doing this on eighths. That's not fast enough. And it's chords 1, 4, and 5. Oops, faster. And then back. I thought it was 1 per bar for a minute. It's not. We need to make that all eights. Come here. That. So the only debate is whether, because that bass octave doesn't sound like it has the extra octave in the oscillator. It sounds like the bass is just detuned like that. Let's duplicate this. Mute the melody. Stop that. Stop that. And then this is melody only. And then the upper voice is the one with the octave. Next month there's going to be 52 remixes of Zombie Nation. No! It is a banger though, it always goes off. If you do make a remix of Zombie Nation, credit David Whittaker, the original writer. I did read somewhere he might have got the rights back. I'm not sure. Something might have happened. Or he maybe settled out of court. Managed to get some money back at least. So yeah, and I think the top line is not detuned. Other than the natural detune between the octaves. And then if you want to sound... Obviously the reverb's not correct, I don't think, but... you smash it with a compressor. Let's send it to... tape. What tapes have I got? Yeah, I've got the slate tape. Squished to death. That might just be the fact that the video was done on videotape. Not sure. But yes, I'm not sure if it's 2 parts or 1 synth, but those are the notes, and it's definitely saw bass. But as far as I can hear, the bass line is detuned, and the top line is just octave. Sounds quite in the ballpark. Good tape plugins. I just use a slate one. I don't know. There's some half decent freebies inside the Tone Boosters free legacy bundle. If you want a freebie, I've always liked the slate. It's just really quick to work with. Not many options on it, but be careful. Excuse me. Hiccup. Be careful using tape in electronic music. Make sure it's like a flavor thing. I wouldn't put it on drums. It extends your kick drums. A well-modeled tape does anyway, because there's a thing called transformer bump, which basically does weird phase things to your sub-frequencies. If you've ever looked at this in Plugin Doctor, you'll see the strange bumps that happen, depending on what inches per second the tape is moving at. But they do strange things to bass, which aren't necessarily good for your groove. So always make sure it's like a flavor thing. Use it for distortion, for tone, leads and things like that. But I wouldn't... they delete transients, which is bad for dance music, and they do strange things to bass, which is bad for kicks and sub. So be careful when using tape stuff. Yes, right. Now this is an interesting one. Dizzy Rascal Bonkers bass. Woo! Oh, which game did David Whittaker make on the Amiga? Techno. If that's how you pronounce your name. Sorry. Yep. If you want to make bangers, David, just use a saw wave. Actually, I mean, while we're on the subject, so what's because modern sounds are very complex, right? So this is my thinking in terms of trying to recreate sounds. This is the start point. So luckily I grew up when synths were much simpler, before we got into I mean, there were wavetable synths back then, but they were much rarer. All of your Moog synths, Roland Jupiters, Junos, all that kind of stuff. Anything that wasn't based on samples had usually quite simple oscillators. So you had saw, right? Saw's the buzzy one. And it also happens to represent, if you look at a saw on an analyzer. It's an even distribution of harmonics that decay at an exactly even amount. So whatever note you start on, like this is a C, the next harmonic above that is the octave, and then you get the fifth, and then the octave again. It's what we call the harmonic series. It's basically the closest harmonic series to what occurs in nature. So it's a very, like I say, brass instruments, human voice has some of this as well, in a way, but basically, so that's kind of the most even sound with the most useful layout of harmonics. That's why it's very common. And when you're approaching sound design, it's important, I think, as long as you're just familiar with the sounds of the four basic waveforms. So sine wave is just a pure single harmonic. I need to bring both of these up. Nothing else on that. So I don't know if you saw Dan Worrell's channel, but he managed to recreate the sawtooth wave by just stacking sine waves. You can literally make a saw wave if you keep going up the harmonic series far enough. And obviously, if your synth can play enough sine waves. In fact, this whole analyzer that you're looking at now, the way this is called an FFT, an analyzer for a fast Fourier transform, is the algorithm, and the principle is basically that every sound is made of sine waves. The only thing that differs between any sound is the harmonic relationship above the fundamental note, right? So everything starts with your fundamental. If you filter down any sound far enough to its fundamental, you'll be back to a sine wave. If you take all the high frequencies away, everything comes back to a sine wave. So all sounds are technically made of sine waves. That's how these analyzers work. They're basically, in a layman's terms, they're scanning 20,000 sine waves for activity at 20,000 different frequencies. That's all you're seeing. So sine wave is pure. Triangle wave is, I call this the baby square. They're not that common. And the big thing with the square, the baby square, the triangle, is that second harmonic is missing. It would be here. So I'm pressing sorry, this is a C. The C up here is missing. You can see some remnants of it here, but that's just false. So they have this hollow sound because there's a fundamental missing harmonic between each one that would be in the saw wave, right? So you get this hollow sound, and the only difference between a triangle and a square is the rate of decay of those harmonics. So the square is the same as a triangle, but it's the harmonics are just louder the higher you go. As you can see, that second harmonic is missing still. We go straight to the fifth. So in sine wave terms, a square has this characteristic. A square and a triangle. The fifth, which is like I explained in my organ video. So if you filter a square, for example, you can get a good rudimentary dance organ with a little bit of you put some attack on the filter. Not a good example. we need to be lower than that. What is going? Oh, sorry. or if you just add a sine at the fifth, you'll get an organ. Fifth is 19 up, by the way. 12 plus half an octave. It's the beginnings of an organ sound. But anyway, that's... So at the bottom of a square is that... Or if you grew up with Game Boy. You know the idea. So once you get used to the sound of the four fundamental sine, sol, triangle, square, you kind of have an ear for the kind of foundations of a lot of sounds. What happens past that with the modern synths, like you know, Vital, Serum, Massive, and you get into these complex waveforms, that's when it gets really... I mean, look at this harmonic relationship, right? They're essentially random, if you know, for all intents and purposes, compared to the actual structured waveforms of the basic original waveforms. Excuse me, I keep hitting the. I've put a pop filter, a pop filter on my microphone, and I keep hitting. I'm just going to put it on the other side. I keep hitting it with my headphones. Apologies for the bangs. But yeah, so developing an ear for those original waveform sounds really helps with you being able to guess, because if it's not any of those, then you just, all that happens after that is trial and error of the complex waveforms. Excuse me, let me just clamp this back down. There we go. Sorry, I had to put a pop filter on the... I was hoping it would catch some of the less desirable sounds from my mouth when I was recording. Right, where were we? Yeah, so that's kind of the fundamental approach I have. If I can't identify it offhand as one of the four fundamental waveforms, it has to be a complex waveform, or heavily distorted afterwards with, you know, there's lots of different kinds of distortion. And then beyond the types of original waveforms, you also have the synthesis types. So if you've not seen my synthesis videos, check those out. But for example, it helps to have an ear for knowing what FM synthesis sounds like. So this is just two sine waves. So here is they're both at the same pitch. We know the sound of a sine wave by now. When you FM one into the other, frequency modulate one with the other, I don't even have to have this one turned up. So for example, if I hear anything that sounds like kind of has a bell characteristic, I'll instantly think of FM synthesis. Because depending on the harmonic relationship of your two waves here, you'll get different effects. This is at the base of a lot of dubstep sounds, but they don't start with sine waves. Basically, they'll have that kind of thing. You'll start with one of the busier waveforms, plus filter manipulation, etc., etc. Or you start with an even more complex waveform, Ableton's wavetable's got those. Yeah, that so you can start with a waveform that already sounds like it's been FM'd. And then FM from there, you get even more madness. So, past complex waveforms, it's all trial and error, guesswork. Unless you know offhand how all of your waveforms sound and all of the different ways they can interact, you know, frequency modulation, ring modulation, simple stuff like filters, subtractive synthesis, that kind of thing. Once you get an ear for all that is how you start to figure out how other people's other sounds are made. And you also need to be able to identify the difference between a sample and a synth. Because obviously, yeah, David, DX7 is the GOAT for FM synths. There is a full free FM synth called Dext if you want the full FM experience. Because Vital only has 3 oscillators plus the sample. The original DX7 synthesizer had 7 operators in it. 7. They're called operators in FM synthesis. They're not, for some reason, might be a licensing thing, but they're just oscillators. FM oscillators are called operators for some reason. But FM synths tend to have more of them in because they're usually just sine waves and they all interact. When you get 7 different sine waves interacting with FM, you can create madness. You don't need any complex waveforms at all. So anyway, that's the fundamental approach. Like anything else, it's like when I did the drum video, I couldn't tell you what sounds better than other things because that's an ear education thing. You just have to... It takes time for your ears to learn. Exactly the same thing with synthesis. You just have to play around with simple waves and all the different synthesis types. Play around with your filters and things like that. Just get an ear for what different things do, and then you'll start to spot. You kind of hear the origins of it in other sounds. Even if you end up just layering things, like you can hear it's a saw wave plus. You start to hear things like it's a saw wave at the bottom, but there's a triangle wave a fifth above it, or something like that. You know, that kind of thing. Doesn't have to be a complex interaction. Sometimes you can just get there with layers. And then you need, like I say, you need to recognize the difference between a synth and a sample. So anything that's like a piano, a string, any acoustic sound, a drum, someone hitting a glass, acoustic usually. They're very hard to synthesize, those kind of things. Anything, you know, so, well, I say that. AI is transforming the game, isn't it? So we'll be able to synthesize everything tomorrow, probably. But as it stands right now, yes, you need to be able to identify what's just a sample and what is a synth, because they're two very different things. Not all sounds can be made from scratch yet. Dex can load DX7 presets, yeah. So the 80s is right there in that one synth. All of the 80s. I've seen this asked for a few times. Alone, Marshmallow, intro. Uh-huh. So it sounds like a saw. I'd call it a pinched saw, this one. So we got octave jumps of chords, what? 6, 7, 1, what? 3. 6, 7, 1, 3. You literally mean the intro synth or the bell on top? GPT coming soon. Yes. Techno, yes. In fact, someone sent me the beginnings of a project they were working on that could steal or mimic the sounds of kick drums from other people's tracks. That's going to be very useful if that comes together. Just like AI can extract a vocal now. You know, that was impossible like a year ago, 2 years ago. Certainly as cleanly as it does it now. We should be able to extract drums. I mean, copyrights aside, obviously, that's not going to work, but... You mean this very, very intro synth, was it? Who was asking for Marshmallow again? Sorry, I did notice it a couple of times earlier. Are you still here? Mr. Marshmallow requester? And didn't catch your name, sorry. You'd think they'd give me an ability to search the chat, wouldn't you? There's no search function on this YouTube chat. No, this wasn't a community request. It was in the live chat. Anyway, I'll presume they're talking about the intro synth. So let's just start there. So we have to ignore there's a filtered LFO noise. Can you hear that? Separate to the sound. It's not there on the second rotation. Oh, it was Rude. Hello, Rude. Yes. So we can hear it coming out of the filter there. Let's get the notes first. Let's what? I think it's an octave apart. So I'm either hearing I'll tell you what I'm hearing. It's what we call a notch. This kind of thing. It's like a pinched sound. So you can either do it with an EQ, a phaser, or filter. Actually, if it's one into the other, let me do this, sorry, the other way around. So it would be notch into low pass. Notch, 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 notch. What's the notes? Not that it matters. Yeah. Okay, so we about 145. Yeah, it was similar to Zomboid. C. Let's just go eighths. Come on now. What's where Morpho saying? No, it's not out of key. It's in B minor. It's in B minor. No. It's D, C sharp, A. I'm classing this as chord 1. You can either say it's You can either say it's D major or B minor. Doesn't really matter which one. No, I'm not. It's not F sharp major. It's not F sharp major. Because that would have a B flat in it. A sharp. What the hell? I've got perfect relative pitch. I understand exactly what I'm hearing. I'm not a live streamer. I'm a professional musician. This is my secondary job. I'm passing on what I do for a living. This isn't me trying to do YouTube and trying to make a living from YouTube. It's the other way around. This is what I do for a living. People come to me to make sounds and make music. This is my daily job, Monday to Friday, for either myself or a ghostwriter. And I have perfect relative pitch. So I think you're trolling, because putting at 1600 and all that kind of stuff got nothing to do with F sharp major. Not the wrong key. I'll just carry on, shall I? Jeebus. Normally I would say agree to disagree, like an opinion thing, but no. It's not even the case. You're wrong. It's not F sharp major. B minor or D major. You could pick either one of those. Absolutely not. Where in this is F sharp major. Look. In fact, I'm not going to entertain you for too much longer because you're just wasting people's time right now. There's an A in there. There's lots of A's. F sharp major has A sharp. I've not done the sound yet. I'm just putting the notes in. Wow. No, you're completely wrong. We go to F sharp at the end, which is in B minor, not F sharp major. Someone needs schooling on basic music theory. Those are the notes. Exactly the notes. If you can't hear that, I'm afraid you need some oral training. It's not out of key. I'm listening to the original. Can everyone hear this? Can you guys hear the YouTube feed? I'm playing back the YouTube. Can you hear that? I literally know Drake. Okay. You just happen to be in my stream, yeah? And it's not your job? Can people hear the live stream? Well, this is an anecdote, if nothing else. I'll tell you what, I'll clip grab it so we can We can do side by side. I bet you I could drag this into Ableton's pitch to thing because it's monophonic, so it would probably grab it. You've heard a remix or something else if you think this is F sharp major. The one I'm listening to right now is B minor. Not even close. 5 keys away. But well done for disrupting the stream. Hats off. It was a laugh. Don't worry about it. Yeah, just in case you couldn't hear that. I don't know if my audio driver picks up. Yeah, so they're not right, are they not? What are my credentials? Oh, just go away. Few 100 million streams. Been professional for 15 years. Any good for you? Literally get paid to make music every day? Does knowing famous make you right? Knowing someone famous make you right? The pitch grabber is wrong. Okay. We're moving on. Right. Well, thanks for the interaction, though. YouTube's going to love the engagement on this video. That's the great thing about trolls. They don't understand that it actually helps the channel. Back to what I was saying. I'm hearing some kind of what I call a pinch in the mids. It's not just like if I take this off. Oh, sorry, I need to do filters 1 and 2. There's something going on in the mids. It's not purely. Yeah, could be tweaking there forever, but I thought I could hear it in the resonance of the upper filter. You also have the option to have your filter follow the notes. Which can, again, change how you perceive certain sounds, especially when you're dealing with filters. Because it's on the move. So I'm not sure. Or it might not even be the synth filter. This you might just be external, which happens a lot. You don't always want to automate everything on the synth. It could just be done, and then, you know, we have to guess what the sound was underneath. Does it appear anywhere else? No. So the key of that, yeah, the key of the sound is in. I'd say most of the character comes from the filter, what type of filter is used, and the resonance on it, basically. There is something going on with an EQ or a filter notch somewhere else. It's not a pure saw wave. So it could be, again, you could be looking at things like, let's lean on this free echo works. million variations, basically. Or you could even get it from normal sawtooth. And then playing around with your pulse width, or probably more likely bend or squeeze. Morpho's getting timed out. What a waste of time. I really do hope that was a guy with a troll, because I actually feel sorry for people who are that delusional. I pray that guy was a troll. If so, I tip my hat to you, sir. Well done. If you genuinely believe what you were saying, I'm afraid, for attitude alone, probably not much chance of having a music career. But on ears alone, definitely not. He produced for Fisher. Don't get me on the producer argument. But anyway, it's somewhere in, I might actually be hearing dual filters as well. There's a lot of possibilities. We could we need this on both, but there we go, right. You know, the only complaint I have about Vital is you cannot balance the outputs of the two filters. You only have drive. Massive oversight. Obviously, you can do it with two different instances of Vital. He produced a meal for you. Fantastic. Is that our first proper troll? Or nutcase? I mean, it goes back to what I was saying earlier about how I couldn't explain to you how I see the colour orange, right? None of us truly know if how we hear things, how we see things is the same as other people. My orange might be your red, etc. We'll just never know. But maybe that guy's F sharp is everyone else's B. You know, if you get a lot of pressure in your ears when you have a cold, you can actually you can be off by a whole semitone. I've never heard anyone being off by a whole 5 semitones. But maybe he was just severely ill and here's everything 5 steps down or 7 steps up, maybe. Not sure. Can I help some people who actually need real information? Let's have a look. But yes, sorry. That's going to be one of those sounds that's so simple. When you first hear it, it's definitely saw-based, and then you'll spend 5 hours trying to get it exact, because it could be, you can see what I'm trying here is combining filters. I can hear some kind of resonance somewhere, but it's not the total filter, because frequencies above this this resonance peak are still happening. So it could be a parallel filter, or it could be or just an EQ pinch. You know, it could be all sorts of things. It could be this kind of thing where they do and then you filter above that kind of thing. There's all kinds of combinations you can. But yeah, nothing like. Usually when that happens to me, I obviously, if you're using this as a reference for your own tracks, any of those sounds you come up with along the way are obviously perfectly fine. So start saving your presets, because any happy accidents when you can't make the original sound are still, you know, perfectly useful in your own, because you don't, as soon as you get the exact sound, people just call you a rip-off anyway. So that's my excuse for not being able to get that 100%. But yeah, that's one of those annoying ones. It's so simple, but not simple. What, someone else thinks this is F sharp major? Who else wants an argument? He thought it was F sharp major, yeah. Nowhere close. The bells. Yeah, well, what I said earlier about bells, right? So we would go to FM. Let's get those in. So we're starting on F sharp. Not major. It's note 5 of the scale. My God, that guy would get torn apart at any school. Where is my reference? Oh, there we are. So that's 5, 3, 7, 4, 5, 4, isn't it? Yeah. We're on quarters. Whoops. See that A natural? Not in F sharp major. What else is it? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. 4, 3, 4, 3. 6. 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 4, 5, 3. So, given that melody, I'd argue this D major. Because he's never returning to the B. Which is why I would say D major over... because this bass line gives us no clues. We spend equal amounts of time on B minor as we do on D major. So you could argue either there. The fact that the melody never hits a B, I'd probably have to hear the vocal as well. No, 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 no. Yeah, the vocal's in D major. Yes, it's D major. Right, synths. So... Would I do this with Vital? This is definitely FM. Oh, sorry, I'm on Zombie Nation's MIDI there. Could do this in Dex. I'm wrong tempo, but it doesn't matter. Let's start with Vital and just see how far we get with 3 oscillators. It might be enough. I'll show you the principle. So it's we need all 3, definitely all signs, but the ratio of FM is how we're gonna. So we need envelopes on the FM amount. Let's play with some pitches. I think we're going to need Dex, or we could do it in operator as well. The oscillator 2. Let's just try this for a minute. We need chorus. Wow, not that much chorus. Let me go to Ableton's operator. I don't think Vital is going to give us enough, to be honest. Who was I replying to in the comments? I said I would always go to a dedicated FM synth for FM. Instruments. I'm going to start with operator instead of Dext because Dext is a pain to use. Not quick. Not fun to watch me. So operator is the same. We just got 4 sine waves, but they all feed into each other in, well, by default, in the default algorithm, they feed into each other in series. And that can get you, in fact, there's probably EP presets in here. Should be a good starting point. That kind of thing. So if you can see, basically the principle is your bottom sine wave is a normal pitch, and then one of them is tuned very high up for that bell. We need some release. Whoops. We need the authentic 80s chorus from Tal. Let's throw Tal's reverb on while we're here. It's probably fine. Right, what does it actually sound like? Actually, you know, I'm hearing both now. I'm hearing... we need to filter on this either way. So we can go... Give me my Vital back now. I can hear how we might... Oh, no. not a square either, is it? It's on its way there. It's on its way. Let's try. Oh. Be nice if Operator gave me easy access to release time without having to do it on every envelope. I've gone too far, but that's where I would start anyway. I'm hearing FM in there, definitely, because it's got that brightness. Reverb's nowhere near. Even the amount of chorus can affect it. Let's try Ableton's built in. It's got more ensemble options. For some reason it goes really quiet. But where have we gone with F minor Frisian? Oh, FM. What's FM Frisian? That's not. There's no such thing. Outrider. Yeah, there's ambience in there as well, Austin, like delay. Yeah. I'm kind of listening past that. It's not, I don't see that as essential to the sound. Reverbs change depending on your mix anyway, so unless you were making the same track. But it's close, you know, that's kind of the fundamentals. It's some kind of FM. And they can get there with I've started with square and triangle there. Don't know if this yeah, that relationship is different. But there's the idea. Again, mumble rap auto-tune tutorial. I don't do any mumble rap. Never have done. You mean the super fast? T-Pain style? Older reference, I know, but that kind of vibe? As far as I'm aware, you just crank the speed, set it to the scale. Ten Walls Requiem, that will be brass, won't it? I forgot what Requiem is. I only remember Elephants before everyone found out he was a homophobe. Am I allowed to say that on YouTube? Requiem. Massive shame, he made some great music. Oh, elephants with a tuba though. It wasn't trombone, I don't think. Oh. Which sound from Requiem were you thinking? Oh, the bass line. We've got an organ there. That does sound like a synth. Saw with white noise. That's all it is. How did I feed the FM synth into Vital? I didn't feed them in. They're running in parallel. So if you take any effect, or doesn't matter what it is, it can be an instrument, an effect in Ableton, and group them, put it in a group, it enters in, it becomes a rack where you can put lots of stuff in parallel, which is how I build all my effects. They're called chains in here, but you can literally drop 10 synths in here and have them all play at the same time. So it's just a layer. They're not feeding each other. I've just put it alongside because the operator wasn't giving me everything I needed. I'm still hearing some of that upper brightness, so I grabbed a square and triangle. They're not interacting in any way. I mean, other than additively, like a mixing together. They're not. I've not even changed the volumes. Attempt number 1 in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it was. Yeah, just running in parallel. They're not interacting. Someone asked if I would use Serum. Was it Outrider? Not anymore. Not since Vital came out. I just prefer Vital's user interface, and I think the filters sound a little bit better as well. It's close. They both do pretty much exactly the same thing. The only difference for me is some of Serum's inbuilt wavetables might be more interesting, but that's, you know, a solvable problem. You can get a million free wavetables for Vital. I've managed to grab the ones from Massive and from Serum into Vital. I just think Vital works much quicker and simpler. The only thing you're missing is a sub oscillator, but I always process my subs completely separately. So never been an issue for me. And the fact that it's free and is, you know, just there's a lot more feedback visually with your drag and dropping and things. The way the envelopes are animated, the way you can preview sounds before you've even finished playing them. If I drag this LFO, I don't have to. If I don't let go of the synth, it doesn't apply. So I can check things out both visually and orally before I even commit to things like that. It's an absolute user interface dream, I think, Vital. And it's the fact that it's free. I mean, forget donating to me. Go and give Matt Title some money. Half my channel is talking about. I think he's called Matt Title, the developer of this. I think it's one guy, or started as one guy. Anyway, yeah. For me, it's a no-brainer, especially for teaching on, because then you can give away the patches and everyone's going to have the access to the synth. Not everyone has Serum. I know most people do, but so yeah, sorry. Bo, bo, bo. Give a quick, if it's again, this might be one of those that sounds really simple and isn't, but as far as I can hear, that's just a filtered saw with white noise added in. Literally that. That's all I can. I don't know if the white noise is dynamic. I'm going to put them both on the same envelope. Obviously lots of reverb. To get that brassy sound, you need to delay the attack of your filter. Obviously our white noise is way too loud right now. Whoops. Possibly the white noise is under... Oh, it wasn't under the filter. That's why. My bad. Might be a tiny bit of... Whoops. Way too much. Actually, that's mixing a slight chorus. I don't think it's a unison. Take some of the high frequencies out of the chorus. I keep pressing play on... let me mute those. I keep pressing play expecting it to play in my DAW. No, there is actually some extra interaction going on up top, isn't there? I wonder what that is. It sounds... Is there an octave in there briefly? I wonder. Possibly clipped. Obviously, you need to take the lows out of your reverbs. Wonder what that. Ooh, could it be a sub octave buried? I'm hearing some. There's some interference from another. Feels like a lower. Something, it sounds... Yeah, I wonder if the white noise is that's clipping. It's that kind of thing. It's like... Maybe it's on its own. Yeah, not sure. No, it's not a sub oscillator. Interesting. It's got some kind of bark to it, hasn't it? it's just coming from the timing of the chorus. You get some interesting phasey artifacts when the choruses are quite tight together. That's about as close as I'll get right now, I think. Who was spamming yeet? Was it Austin? What, you want to know where the meme sound effect is from? Who did yeet again? Remind me. Oh, you're talking about the artist. I just saw Outrider. Had to go. Thanks for dropping by. And just in case Austin's gone, Tom wants Left Wing and Cody lost. Pluck. Forgotten how this one goes. Binary, no, I didn't know what the eagle squeak was. We didn't do it. I'll do it next. You did ask first. And then you had to go. Eagle squeak. Yeah, you'll have to let me know what track. Right, so that is a mallet of some kind. Is that the pluck you're talking about? The layer on the bass? It's like a mallet, but it's drowning in a swamp. That's exactly what it is. You've already got it, mate. You don't need to... The guess is over. Just hire a marimba. Probably, or xylophone, probably a marimba. Drive out to a swamp and make sure you take a microphone. It's definitely on a pitch wobble. I'm trying to determine whether the pitch wobble is just part of the release, or if the pitch wobble is just on the effect, or if it's on the source sound as well. That's very interesting. Oof. I can hear. Yeah, that's a hard one. The wobble is happening on the harmonic. It doesn't appear to be happening on the fundamental. That's what's confusing me. Let's raid contact from Mallet. Actually, maybe. Yeah, it could be a layer. I mean, it's obviously laid with a sub bass. About 2 octaves apart, I think. There's a fifth in there because it's giving organ vibes, right? Organ bass vibes. So there's definitely a fifth harmonic in there, but that's just part of acoustic sound. You could get the wobble with, I don't think it's like synthesized. I think you get the wobble with a completely wet chorus. But I'm confused as to why I'm not hearing it on all the sound. Unless it's the pitch, the wobble's just happening on the echoes, because it's got a delay on there, right? Formant filter. Well, yes, it's formatting because it's a sample. Yeah. Any sample that's pitched away from its original sampled pitch. If it's not a resampled instrument like I'm about to load in Contact, it will formant. You're correct. So the way you, if you actually, what if I just type in, we got any mallets? Oh, I've got wavetables. I wonder if those would load. Nah, not the mallets I want. Instruments. Yeah, what we would need to do is find one close, then sample it as audio, so we can then put it into a sampler, so it repitches as Mr. 13 Scribbles noticed. Good spot, sir. Where are the mallets in Contact now? Oh, is it even going to load them? Like it refused to earlier. The telephones. Oh, it could be kalimba. Let me just check a kalimba. No. It's not that kind of. Is it in the legacy? Yeah. It's in legacy orchestral now. I thought it was. Bear with. Keyboard instruments. No, it's not a keyboard. They used to be just in here. But, oh, marimba's in. Oh. It's not got the harmonic. Not got the harmonic. It's not a marimba. It's a. It's not glockenspiel. Xylophone's the other one I'm thinking of. No, it's wood. Is it xylophone? Glockenspiel. No, that's the metal one, yeah. Huh. It's definitely not a Celeste. Marimba was close. It's not that type of marimba. I wonder if Ableton's inbuilt thing, what's it called? Tension? not tension. It's not vector. Collision. Other one, sorry. Vibraphone. Actually, vibraphone, yes, because vibraphones have the wobbly, basically like a built-in Leslie speaker, isn't it? Yes, good call. Vibes. It's got a vibes in there. Sounds...
Like the darkness turns to light, something just keeps.
The attack. Let's try some. Doesn't sound like a. Not the vibraphone that this has got anyway. Yeah, that's the modulation that. Yeah, that's the xylophone on that's close. It's got these.
Pushing me on and on.
You need the sustain though. Unfortunately, I don't use enough of collision. Note off. No. Oh, I'll give you control of the harmonics. That could be handy. That could be your answer. Take an LFO. Where's that sound coming from? That's from up there. Excuse me. LFO on harmonics. We're in the wrong range. We need... the original way I thought that was done was, like I said, I could only hear the harmonics changing. That's the confusing thing. My go-to first guess would have been take a chorus and just go fully wet. We could layer, I suppose. Maybe. Let's have a look at want some dotted eighths on there. Not too much feedback. Where's my eighths? in that area, unless it could also be set so that an envelope, whenever the MIDI note is triggered, you get the original attack and then it goes completely wobbly afterwards, which is might have been what I was hearing on something like that. Yeah. Let's get the sublayer in. I still think the initial, it's down to getting the right sample still. Yeah. I don't think it's gated, Scribbles, because I can. There's quite a lot of decay on there. The attack is definitely better. It's like I said, but that's in the sample, the harmonics of the original sample. We'd have to find whatever synth patch that is. It's probably, yeah. You'd have to go diving into the mallet sounds of the various synths. Not sure what it would be. Could be anything. That left wing and Cody don't necessarily have all vintage gear. Yeah, but anyway, with the right mallet sample, I think you'd be close. Get just get a chorus on there. Have a play. Yeah, interesting one. Great challenge. Right. Yeah, you could make a mallet in Massive. I know these mallet presets. There probably is in Vital as well. I don't have the version of Vital with all the presets. I'm on the freebie because I just make my own. But yeah, we could. If we had time, we could dissect the Mallet presets in Massive and reconstruct them. Might give you some control over those harmonics. Yeah, interesting. It sounds like a sample to me, though. Although synths can do mallets very well, because mallets are quite pure sounds. Yep. Thank you, Tom. Nice one. Great question. Snow in Australia asks, do I have a Discord? No. No. Answer me this, people. What would we do in the Discord? Because I just don't have a lot of time. So I wouldn't be able to manage it in any way. Oh, I must answer. I promised I would have a go at not the donk from the Barry White Trouble With Me remix, which is actually a sample of House of God. Not Yet Known UK asked for that one. I promised I would have a look at that. Let me just grab that for a second. We found the original House of God by DHS, wasn't it?
The House of God. The House.
Oh, God, that's a lo-fi version. We got any good recordings? This is an old track.
Important to talk about what God is doing. I am excited. I need 100. Miracle in your house.
That could be all kinds of things.
In the earth today. Now let me tell you something. We're still beautifying God's house. And the house of God.
It sounds like a sample, just a heavily distorted one. It's got the harmonics of a drum, like a tabla or conga. It's hard to tell. It also could be an old drum machine, percussion. Yeah, it sounds very squarey, doesn't it? 808 conga. Yes, I wonder. Like, I'll tell you what's worth reading. I have a library. I don't know if this is still available. There was a thing called the Drum Club. It was a pay what you want, and someone had just sampled all the vintage machines. Damn, where is it? The Drum Club. The Mega Bundle. I think conga's on the you're right on the right. I mean that's got the right harmonic relationship. I think pitched up. And then just go mad with. Have to be careful with. Kind of that kind of thing, isn't it? Oh. You can always resonate a note. I've done this before. You can find that. You can always make that ring with a really tight. Then into your drive. It's going to be finding out the kind of distortion that was used. Let's try, I think sine wave folding might work. Maybe both. That kind of idea. Yeah.
The house of God.
Delay reverb. Something like that, yeah, I think. Be careful with your lows going through distortions. And then, while I'm here, make sure you check the lows at the other end because distortion can add them back. Always worth tidying up the lows when using any kind of drive. Yeah, I think that's in the area. Definitely. Two Shell Unrequited, the pad sound by Greg. Let's have a look. Yes, you did. This was on the list as well. Probably have to do a part 2 to get through the rest of the community posts. Let's have a look at Two Shell Unrequited. Pad at 15 seconds. Oh. Okay. So hollow, so we're triangly stroke FME. What's that, ninths? We need the chords first, just in case that confuses me. Oh, before I forget, sorry, the conga I grabbed was from the Roland R8. Just in case I forgot to mention that. That got me quite close for the House of God sound. Right. Let's have a look at this pad. It's quite quiet, isn't it? That's chords. 1 and 6 in what key? G. I think I'm hearing ninth, minor ninths. Something like that. So we start with a sine wave. Let me just... We need reverb, don't we? So, no, so I'm hearing a 7th at the top. That's the bottom and the top note. Dully says it's F sharp. Everything's in F sharp major. Let me go to filtered triangle. We're honing in. We're honing in. There's a 6 on that. Yeah, there's a bit of a clash down there. I don't think it's the same every time either. As for the sound, I'll just program these in on a loop as far as I can hear them, and then we'll do the sound. I think it's oh, that's why that one wasn't playing. In scale, and there was a 6 at the lowest. Which wasn't there every time. Strange. I think that might be every other time, that one. Anyway, let's not get too hung up on. What I'll do is make the velocities matter, and I'll just turn that one down for now. Slower. Right, as for the sound, could be that, or just a simple FM on, I think the same octave would do. Or is it? Whoops. Or is it 9? Sorry, 7. No. Get rid of the beginning. It's kind of there. I know what's happening. I've just heard the notes. Whoops. It goes to a G there, and then the C comes in. So the C's not there. Yeah. That doesn't need to be quiet anymore. Something like that. Anyway. Looks like the principal is stacked fourths. Stacked fifths, sorry. You got fifth, fifth, fifth. Fifth, fifth, fifth. With some extensions at the top. Interesting. I like it, sparse. It's got a mood. Give me bicep vibes. It's very roadsy, isn't it? It's definitely not. What happens if you mix? A bit of the sawing for the grit. Yeah, it is quite Radiohead as well. Anyway, that's kind of where I would go with that. Right, I've been live for 3.5 hours. I need food, I'm afraid, guys. Lots more still to do. I didn't know how many we'd get through. Part of the reason I wanted to do this anyway was just to see if I could notice any patterns in myself, other than thinking everything's a saw wave, of course. I mean, yeah, just because I'm thinking of making a video on sound design. I've not seen anyone do a successful tutorial on it yet, in my opinion, because it is hard. Obviously, it's down to ear education. I'm still trying to break it down, see if I can pass on any reliable methods of doing it. Obviously, being familiar with the original waveforms is key. So this is kind of serving as a precursor to a potential video. So maybe we'll, yeah, maybe we'll do that. But until next time, thank you, James. Yes, I hope everyone found it useful, even if they didn't get their sounds request made. Thank you to everyone. And congratulations to myself on our first troll. Until next time, F major. Everything's in F sharp major. What a legend. I've forgotten his name, but or her name. We don't know. Thank you, yes. Alessandro, James, Thomas, Dolly, Joe, Tom. I'm Jacob. Techum, thank you. Morpho, that was it. Greg. Yeah, Drake's mate. Drake's mate. I'm probably one person away from being able to ask Drake if he even knows this clown. I could probably get that question across. I could certainly ask Chris Lake. That's one phone call away. But I don't think it matters. His ears were clearly in a strange place. Let's just say that. Bless. And best of luck. Right, anyway. Less attention to that dude and more attention to you guys, my people keeping my channel alive. Thank you very much. Are we celebrating 22K today? I know it was close. What's the numbers? 21,943. Oh my God. I don't know what to do with all of you. Incredible. Right. Yep, food time. Redonkulous. My do not disturb has finished. All my messages are coming through now. Nice one, guys. Yep. I'll make a new post, community post. Make sure you get your requests in for the next one. Last Sunday of the month is the only chance I get to do them, I'm afraid. Because I'm still bad at making videos, so they take me for ages. They take me ages, so... I wish I could do more live. But hopefully I'll be able to put this knowledge into a video. Especially, we had such a great variety of sounds requested. Well done, everyone. Thank you. And I'll see you in the comments. That's my slogan now, isn't it? Something like that. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one. Happy Sunday. Good evening. No Discord. Just keep an eye out on my YouTube or leave a comment on the video. I'll collect them all. Oh, by the way, if I don't heart your comment, but you see me hearting other comments on the same video, it means I've probably seen it, but I'm leaving it to write down for later, because the only way I can track comments I haven't replied to is if I don't respond at all. So if I don't heart your comment, it's because I'm leaving it till later to reply to or write down or something. So then you'll know. So just leave me a comment anywhere on a YouTube video for sound requests, or on the previous community post about this sound design channel, sound design challenge, and any of those posts, I will see it. Luckily, 22k subscribers isn't quite enough yet for me not to be able to keep up, I don't think. So I should be able to catch all of your requests. There's still a good 15 or so from the original. So, yep. Nice one. Night, night.